Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. I will be enjoying an adult beverage once again this week. Just a moment. Because I need to say cheers. Cheers to you all. Cheers to the last episode of Tech News from here in my office before I move back home. Prost. And indeed, cheers to the start of launch season. Launch season, which has now officially kicked off with the very official announcement by AMD at Gamescom in Germany on Friday that they are finally filling the gaping hole in the middle of the Radeon RX 7000 series with the 7800 XT and 7700 XT, which cost $500 and $450 respectively and go up for sale September 6th. But there was other news attempting to elbow in on AMD, such as maybe possibly NVIDIA 50 series GPUs. No, not really, but NVIDIA is adding AI-based ray reconstruction to DLSS 3.5. NVIDIA vBIOSes have been super hacked, and Sony has a PS Portal device coming that we can make fun of. So let's say cheers one more time to this week's Tech News.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by the Corsair IQ Link System Hub, a single small controller that manages all of your system cooling and RGB lighting. The IQ Link System Hub mounts magnetically to your case and can control up to 14 devices, 7 per port, with daisy chain support so you can simplify your cable management while still enabling glorious synchronized RGB. Corsair's IQ software can automatically configure IQ Link components while enabling precise fan speed control and real-time system monitoring. Click the sponsor link in the video's description for more on the Corsair IQ Link System Hub. Had a decent amount of beer in that intro, but let's return to the AMD info dump that took place on Friday, which included not only the 2 new GPUs, but also some juicy details on the FSR 3.0 software upgrade, which will go live alongside them. For the GPUs, the $500 RX 7800 XT features 60 compute units, which is actually less than the last gen 6800 XT, but that GPU launched for $650, so some give and some take. Performance is what ultimately matters, which will also be affected by the 7800 XT's 16 gigs of GDDR6 VRAM, which is on a 256-bit bus and clocked a bit faster than the 7700 XT's to hit 19.5 gigabits per second. The 7700 XT meanwhile has 54 compute units and 12 gigabytes of 18 gigabit per second VRAM on a 192-bit bus. Clock speeds are in the 2.1 to 2.5 gigahertz range, with the 7700 XT running at a slightly higher frequency, and board power is 245 watts and 263 watts respectively. DisplayPort 2.1 support is nice too, so given these stats, it's somewhat surprising to see just a $50 price gap between the two cards, but many seem to think that the 7800 XT is priced pretty well, and the 7700 XT would be a little bit better at $400. Either way, on paper and according to AMD's first-party benchmarks, which should be viewed with scrutiny as you well know, these GPUs seem well positioned versus NVIDIA's RTX 4060 Ti, which costs an insulting $400 for the 8GB version and $500 for 16. If Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3.0 is well received, it would increase the value of these cards even more, and again, there's a lot of potential with FSR 3.0 due to the addition of fluid motion, which is frame generation technology similar to NVIDIA's. FSR 3.0 fluid motion works with non-AMD GPUs too, one of the ongoing features of FSR, so not only the RX 6000 and 7000 series from AMD, but also NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 40, 30, and even 20 series will benefit from running FSR 3.0. Unfortunately, only 2 titles, Forspoken and Immortals of Avium, will support it at launch, but many more are on the coming soon list, and AMD is also planning to add fluid motion to their Hyper RX one button to rule all the AMD add-ons feature that the company is also launching soon. That would mean pretty much any DirectX 11 or DirectX 12 game could use FSR 3.0, which would be cool as long as the frames that are generated aren't a garbled mess, which remains to be seen. Also, AMD, if you want to make an easy mode button, maybe name it something sensible. Hyper RX sounds like a prescription for ADHD meds. Much will depend on real-world independent performance benchmarks, of course, but if there's extended buzz around these cards, it's likely because they could very well affect pricing of other mid-range cards, a segment that needs a good kick in the pants for the sake of consumers. And there's already a rumor that NVIDIA might drop the RTX 4060 Ti 16 gig price, which would be cool. while last-gen cards in this price range, like the RTX 3080 or the 6800 XT, could see downward pressure on the used market as well. So keep an eye out on September 6th to see if these new GPUs live up to the hype. And yes, that is also the launch date for Starfield. And oh, what a coincidence! You get a free copy of Starfield along with either of these cards. Also, there's a reference design for the 7800 XT, but only third-party designs for the 7700 XT. Okay, next story. NVIDIA could not sit idly by while AMD just announced stuff at Gamescom, so they once again attempted a rug pull with their own bit of newsy news, DLSS 4.0. I'm sorry, DLSS 3.5, which was definitely not made up at the last minute to try to distract from all that stupid AMD stuff. NVIDIA VP Brian NVIDIA VP Brian Catanzaro donned his AI-designed glasses in a video posted Tuesday that detailed what DLSS 3.5 even means. It's the addition of ray reconstruction to the DLSS suite, which is ray tracing enhanced with AI. So once this goes live via a driver update sometime this fall, GPUs in the RTX family, that's Turing GPUs and newer, which includes 20 series cards and up, will be able to use their tensor cores to enhance the denoising and upscaling stage of the DLSS process to generate a higher quality final image. And while I've been plenty snarky about this update so far, if we're looking at better image quality with a negligible performance hit that uses existing unused resources from the GPU for free via a driver update, well, that sounds like a good deal to me. Maybe I should drink some more beer. Or maybe not. It's just a minor. I'm sure Joe will edit that out of the video. But see guys, I'm trying to say nice things about NVIDIA, or they might just give up on PC gaming entirely since they're already making a crap ton of money with AI. Even more again this week. What PC gamers would really like to hear about from NVIDIA, apart from price drops of course, would be a teaser or early news about the RTX 50 series of video cards, which will presumably exist at some point. And it seems like that very thing had been revealed Thursday night when an ECC filing was dug up by the notorious pranksters over at videocards.com. A full list of GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs from the RTX 5050 all the way up to the RTX 5090 Ti. But nay, friends, it is not to be believed, for the company who made this ECC filing was AFOX, as in a company called AFOX, not just the Fox who created a filing with the Eurasian Economic Commission. That would be silly. But AFOX is quite wily in their business dealings and therefore does not have official board partner status with NVIDIA. And therefore, it is logical to deduce that someone over there simply conjured up all these names as if they were continuous numbers in a sequence or something, and then preemptively issued the filing just so they're covered if and when NVIDIA does launch those GPUs, which likely won't be until 2025 based on informed estimates. EEC filings can be used to spot GPUs coming to market before they debut, but they should also be reality checked if you don't want to get outfoxed. At this point, my script says, say tech briefs and then drink beer. Tech briefs. Speaking of outfoxing NVIDIA GPUs, two Tech Power Up community members did that quite effectively this week, somehow independently designing software tools that could do the same thing. Flash any vBIOS to an NVIDIA GPU, bypassing the signature lock that has been enabled at the hardware level since an on-die security processor was added back in the GeForce 900 series days. This means NVIDIA GPUs can once again be tinkered with via modded vBIOSes, or you can cross-flash vBIOSes from other vendor GPUs. The signature bypass only works on cards up to the 20 series for now, but cross-flashing works with pretty much anything. So big thanks to VI for their work on OMG vFlash and Kefinator for making NVFlashK, allowing hardcore overclockers to once again access unlimited power. Because the power level, you can raise the power levels. Anyway. Another product announced this week came from Sony, who is re-entering the handheld gaming arena with the debut of the $200 PS Portal, formerly known as the mysterious Project Q. For $200, the 8-inch 1080p 60 FPS screen seemed reasonable if paired with adequate hardware, but unfortunately the adequate hardware you need to pair it with is an actual PlayStation 5. And you'd better be on the same Wi-Fi network too. The device somehow doesn't allow cloud streaming, doesn't come with Bluetooth, and won't even work for local play or media playback. So it's a fancy PS5 accessory that does something you can already do with your phone and the PS5 Remote Play app. Way to waste a cool product codename, Sony. Now, HDR is very nice when it's done right, but it can be confusing to set up. From the TV or display to the device running the playback to the source media itself, all must be in harmony. And to simplify this problem, a new standard is starting to roll out, HDR10+, with the plus meaning we wanted to simplify things, so we branded it with a name that is confusingly close to the existing HDR10. Once again, the Germans got a first look at this as it was shown off at Gamescom. Free-to-play sci-fi co-op shooter The First Descendant features automatic HDR setup via HDR10+. But now let me get to the bad part. You'll need a new monitor to use it, unless you got one of the handful of HDR10+ compatible displays that Samsung launched in 2022. You'll also need an NVIDIA GPU, but at least anything back to the GeForce 16 series will do. I like the idea of simplifying the HDR setup process, but HDR10+ still has a few too many minuses for my taste. That was a math joke. Finally, to follow up on last week's tech news, which rode the waves of internet scandal with poise and dignity to the tune of well over 500,000 views, thanks for watching by the way, I have nothing to report on the LTT situation. I wish them well, I wish them healing, and I hope they come back better than ever. And at least in the meantime, bored LTT fans have been making stuff like this. One of the best AI face swaps yet to grace the tech subreddits that it was posted to. Linus's facial expressions are absolutely amazing here. And Steve, he's just so hot right now. Well done, Redditor Peseoane. Okay, what the heck? I'm gonna finish my beer. So there you have it, guys, tech news for the week, and if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all the articles I talked about today are linked in the video's description if you're interested, and you can also check out my store at paulshardware.net for high-quality merchandise, t-shirts like this one, hoodies, beer sets, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next week.